I packed my duffel bag while Laura watched from the doorway, arms crossed, silent. Bills on the dresser, Sophie's therapy, $400 a month. Grace's hearing aids, $6,000. Mortgage notice with red letters across the top. I folded another shirt. Laura spoke. 4 months, she said. $240,000 after taxes. That's 3 years of my salary. I know. You promised, she said. After the last rotation, you promised shore assignment. I kept packing. I'd promised. She was right about that. The twins came in. Sophie held a crayon drawing. Stick figures holding hands. Come home, Daddy, across the top. Can you put this in your bag? Sophie asked. I took it. I'll keep it safe. Grace adjusted her new pink hearing aids. Her voice was quieter, harder to understand. Promise you'll come back? I knelt down, hugged them both. I promise, baby. 4 months. Circle it on the calendar. In the driveway, I loaded the bag. The twins cried on the porch. Laura stood behind them. She didn't come down. You're gonna miss my birthday, Sophie called out. 2 months away. I'll bring you something special from the ocean. I got in the car, started the engine. Rear view mirror. Laura's blank face. The twins waving. I pulled away. I told myself I was doing this for them. 4 hours to the station. Cramped submersible. Supply crates behind me. The pilot didn't talk. We descended through darkness. 3,000 feet. Sunlight disappeared. Depth gauge climbing. 10,000. 20,000. 36,000. 8 tons per square inch outside the hull. Bioluminescence through the viewport. Jellyfish drifting past. Anglerfish with glowing lures. Things I couldn't name. 35,000 feet. Station lights appeared. Distant stars in black void. We drifted closer, matched velocity, docked, airlock cycled, pressure equalized, inner door opened. Commander Helen Reeves was waiting, 52, gray hair pulled back. 15 years of deep-sea command in the way she stood. Morrison, welcome to Mariana Station. Stow your gear. Briefing at 1900. I followed her through the connection tube. 8 modules clamped to the trench floor. Narrow corridors, metal, rivets, constant hum of life support. The hull groaned sometimes. Deep sound. Ocean testing the seams. 8 tons per square inch pressing against every surface. My quarters. 8 by 6. Bunk. Desk. Porthole with thick glass looking at nothing. Rack out early. Drilling starts 0600. You're the last to arrive. 4 total. I unpacked in silence. Taped photos above the desk. Wedding day. The twins as babies. Last Christmas. Pinned Sophie's drawing above my bunk. My locker held manuals and personal items. At the bottom, letters. Pre-written by the twins, 1 for each week. I sat on the bunk, looked out the porthole. Absolute darkness. Sometimes bioluminescence flashing, something drifting past. Intercom crackled, Helen's voice. Morrison, rack out. Drilling starts 0600. I opened the first letter, Sophie's handwriting. Dear Daddy, I miss you already. Mom is sad. Come home soon. Love, Sophie. 4 months, then I'd be done. Home, for good. I believed it. Next 2 days were routine. Diagnostics, briefings. Dr. Yuki Tanaka explained the mission. 34, marine biologist, precise speech. Sediment cores from the trench floor, 200 million years old. Extremophile microbes, origin of life research. Dave was medical officer, 29, first deep rotation. Nervous. When he handed me a clipboard, his fingers were cold. What if they wake up? Yuki didn't smile. Under normal pressure, they'd die instantly. Helen added context. Military funding, bioweapon potential, we extract, we study, we follow protocols. I thought about $240,000. Day 3. I operated the drill rig. Hydraulic arm extended. Drill penetrated sediment. Sample came up in a transparent cylinder, pressurized, 8 tons per square inch maintained. Yuki examined it under the microscope. They're alive. Dormant, but viable. 200 million years old. Helen watched over her shoulder. Isolation protocol. Nothing leaves without decontamination. Dave stood near the containment unit, kept glancing at the sample. What happens if the pressure drops? They die, Yuki said. Or they adapt. We don't know. I had a video call scheduled in 1 hour. I kept checking my watch. Sophie's enrollment deadline was tomorrow. Pressure seal warning started beeping. Red light, audible alarm. Pressure equalization required. Warning light. My watch. 53 minutes until my call home. Probably a sensor glitch, I said. Happens all the time. Beeping continued. 30 seconds. 31. 32. If I stopped now, I'd miss the call. Laura would think I forgot. Again. I pressed continue. The seal cracked, quiet, like ice breaking. Gray mist poured into the lab. I inhaled, tasted like metal and old stone, cold in my throat, sharp, like breathing mineral dust. I coughed once, felt it settle in my chest. Behind me, Dave said something. I didn't hear. I was watching the mist spread, curling through the air, reaching the ventilation intake. Helen hit emergency lockdown, doors sealed, ventilation isolated. Too late. Particles already circulating. Yuki stared at the broken chamber. The seal wasn't closed. They're exposed to station atmosphere. Dave looked at us. Did anyone inhale it? All 4 of us, all breathing heavily. I stared at the broken seal, gray mist hanging in the air. I ignored the warning, I said. I thought it was a sensor error. Helen's voice was level. How long was it warning? Maybe 30 seconds. Why didn't you stop? I looked at the comm screen. Call queue displayed. Laura Morrison, scheduled 1800. I was thinking about my call home. Nobody spoke. The mist settled slowly, particles drifting down like snow, landing on equipment, on our skin, in our lungs. Yuki went to the air filtration panel, ran tests. Microbes are everywhere. HVAC system, crew quarters, life support. Helen turned to me. Decontamination protocol, all personnel, now. Chemical showers, UV exposure, standard procedure. Dave took blood samples. Back in the lab, Yuki was still analyzing air samples. Can we kill them? Heat? Chemical? Radiation? Helen asked. Yuki didn't look up from her microscope. They survived 200 million years. They survived extinction events. I don't think we can kill them. Dave dropped one of the vials, caught it, set it down carefully. How do we know if we're infected? We don't, Yuki said. We've never tested human exposure. There's no protocol for this. I went back to my quarters, sat on the bunk, stared at Sophie's drawing. The intercom crackled. All crew confined to quarters. Morrison, your call is canceled. Contamination lockdown. I picked up the first letter again. Sophie's handwriting. Crayon hearts. 30 seconds of beeping. 30 seconds of red light. The continue button, my hand pressing it. Choosing a phone call over safety. I said it out loud, to the empty room. I wasn't paying attention. Outside the porthole, something bioluminescent drifted past. A jellyfish, maybe. I couldn't tell in the darkness. I lay down, stared at the ceiling, gray mist in my lungs. 4 months, $240,000. Sophie's birthday, Grace's hearing aids. The twins were probably in bed by now. Laura reading them a story. Day 4. I woke up cold, not surface cold, deep cold, the kind that starts in your bones and works outward. I pulled the blanket tighter, but it didn't help. Thermostat read 72 degrees, same as always. My hands felt heavy when I tried to get dressed, like moving through water. Simple things took longer. Buttoning my shirt, tying my boots. Everything required more thought than it should. Helen's voice came over the intercom. Crew meeting in the medical bay. I walked slowly through the corridors. The hull groaned around me. Pressure sounds. Dave was already there when I arrived. He looked pale. Yuki sat on one of the exam tables with her arms wrapped around herself. Core temperatures are dropping, Dave said. He had a tablet showing our vitals. All of you under 96 degrees, heart rates in the 40s. Helen leaned against the counter. What's causing it? Yuki spoke quietly. The microbes. We all looked at her. They survive geological timescales by entering stasis, she said. Metabolic shutdown, like hibernation but deeper. They might be doing the same thing to us. Can we reverse it? Helen asked. Dave shook his head. I tried stimulants on myself this morning. No effect. Heart rate stayed at 42 beats per minute. I thought about the gray mist, the taste of metal and stone, the way it settled in my chest. How long do we have? I asked. I don't know, Dave said. Your bodies are adapting, slowing down. I don't know where it stops. That night, I tried to write a letter to the twins. My second letter home. I sat at my desk with a pen and paper. Dear Sophie and Grace. I wrote that much and stopped. My thoughts felt thick, like trying to think through fog. What came next? What did I want to say? I stared at those 4 words for 20 minutes. Finally, I gave up, lay down on my bunk, stared at Sophie's drawing on the wall. The stick figures holding hands. Come home, Daddy. My eyes kept closing. I fought it, but sleep pulled me down anyway. Deep and heavy, dreamless. I slept for 14 hours. Day 5. I needed to hear Laura's voice, the twins, something normal to anchor myself. I went to the communications room, requested an emergency call home. The surface operator's voice came through the speaker, male voice, confused tone. Mr. Morrison, your wife requested monthly status updates, not daily calls. Our last communication with you was 6 weeks ago. I stared at the comm panel. 6 weeks? I called you 5 days ago, when I arrived. Sir, according to mission logs, you departed 237 days ago. It's been 8 months. That's impossible. Check your system. Timestamps are automated, Mr. Morrison. Today is November 7th, 2025. You launched March 15th. I looked at the calendar on the wall. I'd marked 5 days, 5 X marks in pen. Your system's wrong, I said. I'll file a technical report, sir. Was there anything else? I ended the call, sat staring at the screen. November, 8 months. That couldn't be right. I pulled up the communication logs, every entry time-stamped by the surface relay station. March 15th, April 28th, June 19th, August 24th, November 7th. Months passing while I marked days. I called Helen. Emergency crew meeting. 10 minutes later, we were all in the communications room. Helen at the main console. Yuki and Dave standing behind me. "Show me," Helen said. I pulled up the logs, surface side timestamps, automatic dating from their system. "They think we've been here 8 months, I said. "But we've been here 5 days. Helen scrolled through every communication, every status update, all showing months. 237 days, she said quietly. 5 days for us. She opened her tablet, started calculating. That's a ratio of 1 to 47.4. 1 to 50, Yuki said. Round numbers. 1 day down here is 50 days up there, but the curve is exponential. The longer we're exposed, the faster surface time slips away. Dave leaned against the wall. How is that possible? The hypometabolism, Yuki said. We're not just moving slower physically. We're experiencing time at 1/50th normal speed. Our metabolism, our perception, our cellular aging, everything. Helen kept calculating. 4-month mission was 120 days. For us, that's 2.4 days. We've been here 5 days, I said. We're already past the mission duration. For them. And if we stay the full 4 months subjective? Dave asked. Yuki entered the numbers into her tablet, stared at the result. 20 years, she said quietly. Nobody spoke. I thought about Laura, about telling her 4 months, about the twins waiting for me. We need immediate extraction, Helen said. She turned to the communications panel, started typing. Medical emergency, crew contamination, requesting emergency retrieval. She sent it. We waited. The response came back 15 minutes later. Extraction authorized. Submersible dispatch in 12 months surface time. 12 months, Dave said slowly. That's about 7 days for us. Helen looked at her tablet, calculating. 7 more days down here, 20 months total by the time we surface. Nearly 2 years. The twins would be 8 years old. I'd promised them 4 months. I went back to my quarters, requested a video call with Laura, put it through emergency channels. The screen flickered. Laura's face appeared. She looked different, thinner, hair longer, dark circles under her eyes. The kitchen behind her had new curtains, different paint on the walls. It's been a year, Jack, she said. Her voice was flat, tired. A whole year. Sophie's in 2nd grade now. Grace got her permanent hearing aids. For me, it's been 6 days, I said. Don't. Her voice went hard. Don't do that. The Navy psychologist said you might dissociate from... Look at me, I interrupted. Actually, look at me. Do I look a year older? She stared at the camera. Her expression shifted. Confusion replacing anger. You look exactly the same, she said slowly. Same stubble. Same... Something happened. The microbes we extracted. We're experiencing time differently. That's not possible. I know how it sounds, but it's been 6 days for me, 1 year for you. Laura was quiet for a long moment. I could see her thinking, processing. The girls, I said. Can I see them? She turned away from the camera, called their names. Sophie came into frame first. Taller, 7 years old now. Her hair was longer, front teeth missing. Daddy? She said. My throat went tight. Hey, baby. I'm sorry I missed your birthday. You missed my birthday, she said. Not angry, just stating fact. You missed Christmas. You missed first day of school. Grace pushed in beside her. Her hearing aids were completely different. Blue instead of pink. And her voice, clear, confident. A year of speech therapy. You said 4 months, Daddy, Grace said. Every word distinct, no hesitation. I stared at her. When I'd left, she could barely string a sentence together. Now she sounded like any other 7-year-old. I know, sweetheart. Something went wrong, but I'm okay. I'm coming home. When? Sophie asked. I calculated in my head. 7 more days for us, 12 more months for them. Soon, I said. Maybe a few more weeks. Laura's bitter laugh came from off camera. A few weeks. For you, that's years for us. The girls looked confused. Sophie turned to Laura. Why does Daddy look the same? I don't know, baby, Laura said. Her voice broke slightly. She reached forward. I can't do this right now. The girls have school. The screen went dark. I sat alone in the communications room. My daughters were a year older. Strangers who looked like my children but weren't quite the same. 7 days from now, they'd be another year older. The next day, Dave got a message. Automated notification from surface operations. His sister Rachel had died. Leukemia. She'd been 24. Dave read the date on the notification, stared at it, looked at Helen. She died over a year ago, he said. For them. For me, I talked to her last week. He'd been sending money for treatment. He was going to visit her after this rotation. He played her last voicemail on his personal device. Her voice cheerful despite everything. Hey, big bro. Kicking cancer's ass. Don't worry about me. See you in 4 months. She died believing he was coming back. Dave went to his quarters, locked the door, didn't come out for the rest of the day. Day 8. Yuki had her scheduled call with Marcus, her fiancé. I was in the corridor outside the communications room when she took it. I heard her voice through the door, then his, then Marcus's voice, louder. I mourned you, Yuki. A long silence after that. The door opened. Yuki walked past me without speaking. Her face was blank. Later, Helen told me what happened. Marcus was 37 now. He'd been 34 when Yuki left. 3 years older, gray at his temples. Different apartment in the background. He'd shown Yuki his hand, an engagement ring. Not hers. Different woman. I'm getting married next month, he'd said. Her name is Catherine. Yuki had tried to explain. 8 days for her, 3 years for him. Their wedding was supposed to be in 4 months. October 2025. It's 2028, Yuki, he told her. That wedding was 3 years ago. I canceled the venue. I returned the deposits. I mourned you. She'd said she wasn't dead. She was right there. You're a ghost, he'd said. I can't wait for someone who experiences days while I experience years. At dinner, Yuki picked at her food. Didn't eat. 8 days for us, she said quietly. Years for him. None of us knew what to say. Outside the porthole in the galley, something pale drifted past in the darkness. Too large to be a jellyfish, too slow to be a fish. We watched it disappear into the black. The hull groaned, the ocean testing the seams. 6 more days until extraction. For them, nearly another year. Day 9. I got a legal notification, automated delivery from surface operations. Divorce finalized. Morrison versus Morrison. Filed years ago. I'd never responded. Communications were restricted. I read through the document. Laura had remarried. Her new name was Morrison Hayes, David Hayes, stepfather to the twins. Full custody to Laura Morrison Hayes. Child support waived due to extraordinary circumstances. Life insurance payout processed year 5. I'd been legally declared deceased. I called the lawyer listed on the papers, got forwarded to voicemail, left a message. He called back an hour later. Mr. Morrison, Mrs. Hayes requested no further contact. "She can't do that," I said. "Those are my daughters." "You've been gone 6 years, sir. You're legally deceased." Mrs. Hayes needed to move forward. "I've been gone 9 days. I understand the psychological strain. Your case is documented, but legally, the courts sided with Mrs. Hayes." He ended the call. I sat in my quarters, stared at Sophie's drawing on the wall. "Come home, Daddy." There was no home to come back to. Helen found me an hour later. She stood in the doorway. "Extraction is confirmed," she said. "Surface time, about 10 more months. That's 5 more days for us." I nodded. "Jack, it's not your fault." I didn't respond. The contamination was an accident. The time dilation wasn't your choice. "I pressed the button," I said. I ignored the warning. I chose the call over safety. Helen left. I took down Sophie's drawing, folded it carefully, put it in my locker. I couldn't look at it anymore. Later that day, Helen showed me something. Station psychologist had sent files, family updates for crew mental health, social worker reports, school records, police documentation, Sophie. I read through them, watched my daughter's life documented in clinical language. Year 6. Sophie was 12. School counselor report. Sophie Morrison Hayes displaying behavioral issues following father's legal death declaration, refuses to accept stepfather. Grades declining. Laura's therapist notes. Client reports daughter Sophie refuses to call husband dad. Refers to biological father in present tense despite 6-year absence. Sophie's diary entry from that year. They say dad's dead. Mom married David. Sophie was 14. Police report. Shoplifting. Detained. Community service. School expulsion notice. Physical altercation with another student who made remarks about her father. Third incident that semester. Psychologist evaluation. Subject exhibits anger issues, abandonment trauma, refuses to process grief. Laura's letter to me, undelivered. Sophie is destroying herself. She ran away twice this year. She blames you for leaving. She blames me for moving on. Grace tries to help, but Sophie pushes everyone away. Year 12. Sophie was 18, community college dropout. Year 15. The reports kept coming, year after year, arrests, failed treatments. Year 17. Sophie cut off contact with family. Laura's diary entry. Sophie won't answer calls. Grace hired a private investigator. She's alive, but she doesn't want to be found. Year 24. Sophie was 30. Last known address, transient housing. Employment records showed 8 jobs in 3 years. I stopped reading, put the files down. Helen was watching me. "Jack, she's 30, I said. "She was 6 10 days ago, and she's destroyed. It's not your fault. I left. I chose the money. I did this." Day 12, I got a video message, forwarded from Surface Operations. Grace. I opened it. The screen flickered on. Grace was an adult, 24 years old, wearing a lab coat, standing in what looked like a university laboratory. She looked like Laura. She looked like a stranger. "Dad, if you're receiving this, I know you're still alive. Mom thinks I'm crazy. Sophie won't talk about you. But I know." She showed the camera around the lab. Research equipment, microscopes, sample containers. "I'm getting my doctorate, UC San Diego, Scripps Institution of Oceanography. I'm studying extremophile microbiology, time dilation organisms." She turned back to the camera. Her eyes were determined, familiar somehow, like looking at Laura 20 years ago. "Everyone thinks it's theoretical. I know it's real. I know you're down there experiencing days while we experience years." She walked to her desk. "I keep your picture here to remind me why I'm doing this." Her voice got quieter. "Sophie thinks you abandoned us. Mom thinks you're dead. But I remember what you said. You promised you'd come back. You said 4 months." She looked directly at the camera. "It's been 18 years, Dad. But I believe you. I don't know if you're aging. I don't know if you're conscious, but wherever you are, whatever's happening to you, I'm looking for you." The video ended. I sat in the communications room, stared at the black screen. Laura had forgiven me, but she'd moved on, found someone else, built a new family. Sophie hadn't forgiven me. She'd cut off contact, disappeared. Grace hadn't given up. She was still searching, and I was 7 miles underwater, frozen in time, watching my family age and fast forward. Day 14. Helen called a meeting in the common area. "Rescue mission has been delayed," she said. "Funding issues, new ETA, year 40 surface time." I did the math in my head. "That's 12 more years. We'll be here 5 more days." "Sophie will be 40, Helen said quietly. "Grace will be 40. Yuki was at the computer. She'd been there constantly since day 8, checking surface dates, calculating. "Marcus is 62 now," she said to no one in particular. "His kids with Catherine are probably teenagers." She turned to look at us. Her eyes were hollow. "We would have had kids. We would have been celebrating our 30th anniversary. Instead, he's lived an entire marriage while I've been here 2 weeks." Dave hadn't left his quarters in days. Helen checked on him every few hours. He was alive, barely, lying in his bunk, staring at the ceiling. "It's been 2 weeks." The station groaned around us, the hull settling. Pressure sounds deeper now, more frequent. Helen checked her maintenance logs. "We've been here 14 days. For the station, it's been 28 years. 28 years of 8 tons per square inch pressing against every surface. 28 years of wear." The lights flickered, the ventilation ground louder. The food supply was running low. Everything was breaking down. The station, the crew, my family on the surface. And I was the one who'd broken the seal. Day 15. I got another notification. Automated death certificate. Sophie Morrison. Date of birth, 2019. Date of death, 2071. I read the medical examiner's report, found in a motel room in Las Vegas, Nevada. Unresponsive. Estranged from family approximately 24 years. Sophie had lived to 52. She'd spent 46 years without me. The last 24 estranged from everyone. She'd been 6 when I left, 15 days ago. Another video message came through. Grace. She was 58 now. Gray hair, grief-worn, wearing black. "Dad, Sophie died 3 weeks ago. She never got better." Grace's voice broke. "We hadn't spoken in 20 years. I tried. I hired investigators. She didn't want to be found." She wiped her eyes. "I paid for her funeral. There was no one else. Mom's health is failing. I'm the only one left who remembers you." She looked directly at the camera. "She never forgave you." Grace's hands shook. "I don't hate you, but I can't absolve you either." She took a breath. "If you come back, when you come back, please don't expect us to be the family you left. We're not those people anymore." The video ended. I sat alone in my quarters, held Sophie's drawing in my hands. The paper was 15 days old for me. "Come home, Daddy." She'd been 6 when she wrote it. She died at 52. Grace would be in her 60s by the time I surfaced, maybe her 70s. Sophie would still be dead. Day 16. I marked another X on the calendar in my quarters. The gaps were getting wider. Day 5 was 8 months. Day 16 was 50 years. Another video message came through. Mom died last year, age 93. It's just me now. Her voice was older, tired. I'm retiring from research. I couldn't find the cure. I'm sorry. I have cancer, stage 3, starting treatment. I don't know if you'll ever see this. Her face was thinner, eyes hollow. Treatment isn't working. I'm dying, Dad. I'm dying, and you're still down there. Her voice broke. She was crying. I spent my whole life looking for you. 50 years of research, 40 papers, 3 patents, all because I wanted to understand what happened. She looked at the camera. And I failed. I couldn't save you. I couldn't bring you back. The video cut off. I sat in the dark, listened to the hull groan. Day 19, another message. Year 56. Grace was 62. She looked worse, much worse. Oxygen tube visible. Hospital bed. This is probably my last message. The cancer came back, spread to my lungs. She coughed. Took a moment to breathe. I'm tired, Dad. I've been waiting 62 years. I need to let go. She reached off camera, brought out a small box. I kept this, from when I was 6. She opened it. Inside was a small plastic hearing aid, pink, her first pair. You bought these for me. You said they'd help me hear the world better. She held it to the camera. Her hands shook. She closed the box. Goodbye, Daddy. Come home safe. The screen went dark. I didn't move for 10 minutes. Just stared at the black screen. Helen found me there. Jack, you need to eat. She called me Daddy, I said. She's 62 and she called me Daddy. 3 more days until rescue. You'll meet her family, her grandchildren. She's dying. She'll be dead before I reach her. Helen didn't argue. She knew it was true. 3 more days for us. 6 more years up there. Grace would be 68 if she was still alive. Day 20. No message from Grace. I checked the communications log 3 times. Silence. I waited by the screen all day. No message came. She'd stopped. After 60 years of searching, she'd stopped. Day 21. Still no message. The silence was heavier than the messages had been. I didn't know if the silence meant she'd given up or if she was gone. Both options felt the same. Day 22. Helen found Dave in his quarters. No pulse, body cold, eyes open. He'd died in his sleep. Peaceful, no struggle. Helen checked the time of death, estimated 12 hours ago. Maybe more. He's been in hypometabolism so long I couldn't tell, she said. We found a note beside his bunk. Don't bring me up, there's nothing left up there. Rachel's been gone 64 years. Let me stay in the deep. Helen looked at me. Do we honor it? Yes, I said. We held a brief service, the 3 of us, Helen, Yuki, me, standing in the common area. Helen spoke. David Palmer, age 29, medical officer, good man. He rests in the deep. We sealed Dave's quarters, locked the door. The station became his grave. 7 miles down, in the dark, with the pressure and the cold. At least he didn't have to face what we'd lost. Day 25. The rescue submersible arrived. An alarm sounded. Docking sequence initiated. We gathered in the docking bay. Helen, Yuki, me, 3 survivors out of 4. The sub was different, sleek, no human crew. A holographic interface flickered on. Female voice, calm, clinical. "Welcome, Mariana station survivors. Please board for ascent." I stared at the empty cockpit. "There's no pilot." "Automated rescue vehicle," the AI said. "Deep-sea operations have been unmanned since 2070. No humans, just machines." Helen boarded first, carrying station logs, taking command until the end. Yuki followed, carrying preserved microbe samples. I went last, carrying only Sophie's drawing and one family photo. I looked back at the station, Dave's sealed quarters, the observation windows dark. The sub sealed. The ascent began. 4 hours to surface. We sat in silence. The sub was cramped, automated, efficient. The porthole windows showed darkness giving way to blue. Helen spoke. "What year will it be up there?" the AI answered. "Current date, March 15th, 2093. Welcome back." 2093, I said. 68 years? The twins would be 74, if they were alive. Laura would be 95. I'd aged 25 days. We surfaced. The ocean looked different, warmer color. The coastline had changed. The platform was automated. No people. Drones hovering. Robotic arms moving. We stepped out. Decontamination sprayers hit us immediately. AI scanners checking for pathogens. "Where is everyone?" I asked. "Human personnel are in transit," the AI said. "Please proceed to medical evaluation." Everything was automated. Holographic signs I couldn't read. AR interfaces I didn't have implants for. "Mr. Morrison, please follow the blue line to medical." Helen touched my arm. "You need neural interface. It's standard now." I didn't know what that meant. The medical facility was sterile, automated, robotic surgery arms overhead, holographic doctors with no bodies. An AI voice spoke. Female, professional. "Welcome back, Mr. Morrison. You are chronologically 106 years old, physically 38. Scanners moved over me. Microbe colony present in bloodstream. Dormant, non-threatening, permanent. "Can you remove it?" I asked. "No, it's integrated with your cellular structure. You will age normally from this point forward." My family, Laura Morrison, Sophie Morrison, where are they? The AI paused. Accessing records. Laura Morrison Hayes, deceased 2081, age 93. A long pause. Sophie Morrison, deceased 2071, age 52. Another pause. Grace Morrison Chen, deceased 2089, age 70. The room was quiet except for the hum of machines. "They're all dead," I said. "Correct. I am sorry for your loss." I lay back down, stared at the ceiling. I'd been gone 25 days, and they were all dead. Grace had died at 70, 4 years ago. She'd stopped sending messages on day 20, year 60. She'd lived 6 more years after her last message. She'd died believing I might never come back. She'd been right to stop waiting. The government gave me an apartment, small studio, automated everything, voice-controlled lights I couldn't figure out, food that didn't taste right, synthesized protein, algae-based carbohydrates, everything wrong. I lay in an unfamiliar bed that first night, alone in a world 68 years in the future. 3 days later, I took an autonomous taxi to the cemetery. Portland was unrecognizable, buildings taller, architecture different. The waterfront had expanded, sea level rise, floating structures in the harbor. "This isn't Portland," I said. The AI taxi responded. "Portland Metropolitan Zone. Population 4.2 million. Estimated arrival 4 minutes." I watched the city pass by through the window. Nothing was familiar. The cemetery was mostly automated. Holographic directory, drone maintenance, few visitors. I searched the directory. Morrison, Laura. The hologram displayed Plot 447, Section C, deceased 2081, married name, Hayes. I walked through rows of graves, dates on the stones, 2070s, 2080s, everyone from the future, everyone who'd lived while I was frozen. Laura's grave was well maintained, fresh flowers, someone still visited. The stone read, Laura Morrison Hayes, 1988 to 2081, age 93. She'd remarried, had grandchildren, a career, a whole life. I'm sorry, Laura, I said. I thought I was providing. I thought 4 months was worth it. I pulled out Sophie's drawing, folded, worn, 68 years old now. I placed it on the grave. Sophie gave this to me the day I left. I promised her 4 months. I sat beside the grave for an hour, trying to reconcile the wife who died at 93 with the woman I'd left 25 days ago. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I found Sophie's grave in a different section, smaller stone, simpler. Sophie Morrison, 2019 to 2071, age 52, forever young. No beloved descriptors, minimal inscription. The grave was poorly maintained compared to Laura's. Overgrown grass, no flowers, no one visited her, no one remembered her. I used the cemetery's public terminal to search her records. Everything becomes public after 50 years. Obituary. 52, passed away in Las Vegas, Nevada. No services planned. Survived by Sister Dr. Grace Morrison Chen. Found 72 hours post-mortem. Employment records. 23 jobs over 30 years. None lasting more than 18 months. Her last social media post, age 34. Some people leave and never come back, and you spend your whole life waiting anyway. The 6-year-old who drew me a picture had lived 28 more years and died at 52. I'd been gone 15 days when that photo was taken. I collapsed at her gravestone, put my hands on the cold marble. My voice cracked. You were 6. You drew me a picture. You asked me to come home, and I chose the money. Eventually, I left. But I came back the next day, and the day after that. Grace's grave was in a family plot. Dr. Grace Morrison Chen. Dedicated 50 years to studying time dilation organisms. Reading the plaque, I saw the final line. Her last words. Tell Dad I did my best. You did, Grace. You did your best. I'm sorry I wasn't worth it. A week later, a woman found me at Grace's grave. Grandfather? I turned. She was in her late 40s, looked like Grace. Same eyes, same determined expression. I'm 38, I said. You're what, 48? Don't call me that. Emma Chen, Grace's daughter, your granddaughter. She paused. My mother spent her entire life searching for you. To me, you're legend. She sat beside me on the grass. Mom died 4 years ago, cancer. She asked for you at the end. Emma pulled out a tablet, showed me photos, Grace's research lab, preserved exactly as she'd left it. My photos everywhere, wedding photo, the twins at birth, family photos, pinned to walls. She kept researching. She wasted her life on me, I said. She didn't waste it. She had a beautiful life, husband, 3 children, 7 grandchildren, decorated career. She just never forgot you. Emma looked at me. She loved you. She loved the memory and she loved the hope. Sophie didn't love me. Sophie died hating me. Sophie died broken. That's different than hate. Mom always said Sophie loved you too much. And that's what killed her. 2 years later, 2095. I'd learned to use neural interfaces, found work as a historical consultant, teaching engineers about obsolete 2020 technology. But I never stopped visiting the graves. Emma's family tried holidays, meeting great-grandchildren who called me Grandpa Jack with confused politeness. How could their grandfather be younger than their mothers? I attended therapy. Too many sessions to count, but I couldn't move forward. Emma brought me a camera one day. You should document it, for closure. I set it up in my apartment. I pressed record. This is for anyone who finds this. My name is Jack Morrison. I'm 40 years old. The year is 2095. I was born in 1987. Do the math. I looked at the camera. In 2025, I took a deep-sea engineering job. Mariana Station. I was supposed to be gone 4 months. I told the whole story. The contamination, the microbes, the time dilation. I was gone 25 days. The surface experienced 68 years. I listed the deaths: Laura, Sophie, Grace. Sophie never recovered from me leaving. She was 6. I promised her 4 months. She died at 52. Alone, angry, hating me. My voice steadied. I don't blame her, because I chose wrong. I stared at the camera. I thought I was providing. I thought money was care. I thought 4 months away was worth it for financial security. I took a breath. It cost me 68 years. It cost Sophie her life. I leaned forward. Choose them. Choose presence. Choose being there. I said it clearly. Don't be the father who chose wrong. Don't be the ghost at the grave. I stopped recording. 20 years later, 2115. Emma Chen, age 68, added her narration to the tape. The man in that recording was Jack Morrison, my grandfather. He died this morning, March 15th, 2115, age 60, exactly 22 years after surfacing. She continued. He spent those 22 years visiting 3 graves, his wife Laura, his daughters Sophie and Grace. She paused. Her voice was steady. Every day for 22 years, he went to that cemetery and apologized to a daughter who died 44 years ago. He never remarried, never dated, never moved on. He tried to connect with us, but we were strangers. She stood at the cemetery, 4 graves in a row. Laura Morrison Hayes, Sophie Morrison, Grace Morrison Chen, Jack Morrison. Inscription: Lost to the Deep, 2025 to 2093. Returned too late. Father, husband, ghost. I appreciate you staring into the abyss with me tonight. Hopefully, it helped you shake off the day's stress. I'm always looking for new nightmares to cover, so drop your ideas in the comments. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe and officially join the Nocturnal crew. Stay safe and keep the lights on. Or if you decide to turn them off, don't say I didn't warn you.